Hey guys, how are you going? And welcome back to my channel and this series, Lockdown, How Are You Coping? Today we've got Iwan on the channel. He is a third year university student in Wales. And yeah, we just talk about him, how this has affected his uni life, as well as the difference in both Wales and England with the different regulations that we are now on. And I just think it's a really interesting story. If you enjoyed this on my channel and you want to see more, please remember to subscribe to the channel and press the bell. We are uploading this series every day at 7 o'clock. Other than that, I will roll the interview and I hope you enjoy. Perfect. So first of all, do you just want to tell everyone a bit about you, who you are, and just kind of an overall?
My name's Iwan. I'm a student in Bangor University. It's in North Wales. Third years of wildlife animal behaviour. I think that's mostly grew up on a farm, so animals have always been massively important in my life, but not the sort of my dad would want me to work with. I've gone with the more exotic. But so that was a difficult thing for him to get over. But my brother loves farming, so he can carry on the family business.
As long as you've got one, it's fine, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And so for lockdown, so you just said you're in Wales, which is actually really interesting and cool for me because obviously the variations we have, like the way the country's been divided. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But first of all, how has lockdown, I suppose, been good to you, and like what's a positive that's come out of lockdown for you?
Well, being a third year, we had dissertation to do, so I think the lockdown really allowed me to like nail down and focus on getting that done and working on it pretty much constantly because we didn't have lectures, we didn't have other things to go to, couldn't go out and do anything. So it removed all distractions and it really allowed me to really get down and focus on that.
So yeah, you just literally had that to do and nothing else, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, that's good in terms of like, getting it done, because I know students from the past that said that, oh, I did my dissertation in like a week, like I smashed it out in a week, and like it's quite common. So the fact you had time is probably, good for you.
I think it also really helped with the whole aspect of everything, because I think if we didn't have it, we would have been just sort of pottering around, not doing anything. And I think it's like kept me quite active. I've been getting up, getting things done, because I had to wake up and do it. And I think it sort of kept my mind active, kept me engaged, sort of helped deal with, the lockdown and everything going on, give me something to focus on, really strive to achieve.
That's good. It's good. It's a good way to, come out of it and like, have that positivity.
Definitely.
So on the flip side, have you had any negatives with regards to lockdown? Anything you haven't liked about it and stuff?
We live in North Wales, which is near Anglesey, a really beautiful area. This time of year, we would always sort of go for walks. We'd walk to Anglesey across the bridge, a couple of miles to the beach. But with the lockdown, we've not really been able to do that. And here, the weather during the winter is quite horrible.
Yeah.
Always this time of year, we're a big group of friends. We'd always go for walks, but we've not been able to do that, which has been quite depressing for us.
Yeah, of course. Having that beautiful. I mean, I've never been to Wales. It's on my list to go. I mean, it's so close. But to have it there and just be able to like, nope, sorry, you can't do that. It's just, it's got to be hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so touching on that, so you are in Wales, as you've said. So you're locked down. So obviously, I'm based in Birmingham, so in England. So the lockdown restrictions that changed here on Sunday, I'm not necessarily in favour of them. I think that they've gone wrong. What's your opinion on what Wales, Scotland, and Ireland did versus England and stuff?
I'm a very I've always been quite in support of Welsh nationalism, so I'm Plaid Cymru Welsh Nationalism Party, and always been quite against Welsh Labour, and I've always felt that they've gone quite with Westminster, and they've always followed what England have done, and always been very with them. And I'm honestly, this time I'm very glad that they've gone, you know what, no, you're wrong, and we need to carry on with this. And
Yeah.
so I'm fully with the lockdown being extended. It's probably the safest thing we can do.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like we weren't quite there. Like, I don't know if you've heard what they've actually allowed here, but basically,
Yeah, we all watched it because my
yeah, it's
friends all
just
come to it.
like so I can leave my house and someone else can leave their house and we can meet in a park 1 meter apart, but only one person. Like,
Yeah,
it's just very what does that mean? I think it's left open to interpretation, and English people are very what's the word for it? No, I like them, but they're very like, kind of forward and they'll just do stuff. So I am worried that this is going to, I mean, because it came into effect, well, today's Wednesday, so that's today's the day it came into effect. So how people are actually going to take it and use it.
yeah.
And yeah. Um, so what's the, I suppose, the weirdest thing that you've done in lockdown, having all this free time? Is there anything weird or strange that you've done that you probably wouldn't have normally done or anything?
Um, I don't really know. We've all been really preoccupied with doing our uni work. We've
So you've
not
actually been quite productive in it, yeah,
very
rather than.
productive. Yeah, normally
Hmm.
I think I'd be quite well. I procrastinate a lot, so I probably wouldn't have done it as frequently as I did because I didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah,
Um, but no, it's just been work pretty much all we've done.
constantly.
As often as we can, and then by the time we've done with stats and looking through papers online, we've been tired. We've been like, oh, we're just going to put TV on now and
Yeah.
just sit in a room and not talk to each other. And
And obviously, so you are a uni student, a third year uni student as well. So
yeah,
how has the lockdown, do you think, affected you as a student, which is maybe different to someone that's not a student? And like with the unis obviously closing and, fees still having to be paid, but not getting the same kind of experience and all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. What are you thinking with that?
Well, this year especially, we've lost a lot of uni because there was 5 weeks of strikes earlier in the year as well.
Oh, wow.
So with the lockdown as well, a lot of people feel like they've not got the value for money and they've not been given the adequate teaching time that they had allowed. My dissertation wasn't that complicated. We did a survey, so I had my information, I had my data from a very early point.
Hmm.
But my friend was doing experiments. She was flying pigeons and monitoring their flight biology, so she couldn't do that. So she lost out on a lot of data. So it simplified her dissertation quite a lot. I know a lot of other people haven't been able to get equipment they needed to complete dissertation. So it
Hmm.
affected a lot of people. I think all over the country. The third years um, are very worried about how their grades are going to come out.
Yeah, I think it's like the opposite, I think, from what I've understood. So obviously, because you still have to do these dissertations regardless. Whereas,
Yeah,
if we go back to like school, so you've got year 11s and year 13s, and they're basically been given a free pass. So it's like
yeah,
the opposite almost.
yeah, definitely. I think we yeah, it's really shafted us this year. We've really come out with a sore end of the deal.
Yeah. And while we're on the subject of university, I know, have you got any friends that are like in student accommodation that have had issue like wanting to leave and not being able to get money back, or have you had fairly good? Because I know I spoke to some students where they've had money back instantly, and then others where it's just been a bit of a nightmare. So just from like a Welsh perspective, I suppose.
I know our university, very early on, the students' union pushed it through, and if you wanted to leave, you got the because you had to pay in advance.
Of
That would be
course.
returned, and they would go home. They had people on standby to help people who were in private accommodation to maybe speak to landlords and in that aspect. But they obviously they can't guarantee money back from private, but they would help facilitate uh, like talking to landlords.
Yeah.
There could be something back. So I think our uni's been very good in some areas of dealing with the virus, but in others they've not really done well.
Yeah, well, that's good. That I think with especially from a money point of view, like it's good that they are doing that because students are known for being the poorest kind of people
Yeah,
because the students aren't the most sensible. Not all of them, but with money, like if there's a
yeah,
night out, you go out and you spend way too much and all of that. So I think having some of that back is kind of a good thing.
yeah, definitely. I think especially because it's mainly first years that because accommodation is reserved for first years, and then whatever rooms left is opened up to the later years.
Yeah.
And I know most first years have gone home and they've managed to get all their money back that they spent. Well, for the time they weren't there.
Yeah, of course. That's really good. And so with lockdown, do you think what's your thoughts? Do you think it will end soon, like in Wales? What do you think the next steps will be for you guys? Like, I suppose with announcements, do you think it will be like 3 or 4 weeks and you'll start to slowly, because obviously your deaths are, I mean, the deaths are obviously a lot lower than like England and
Yep.
stuff, but do you think it will come out like as a slow progression, or what do you think will happen next?
I think what, well, from my point of view, how I can see it is we've got a much lower infection rate and death rate. So they thought if we keep the lockdown a bit longer, we can open things up quicker and everything get back to normal quicker. As long as we just have the worst end of the deal for a bit longer, we can
Yeah.
open up much earlier, which I think is is what they're going to do. I think we'll see a much quicker progression in things opening in England.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think because England is, especially like if you look at places like London, Manchester, Birmingham,
Yeah.
huge cities, just with people being everywhere. Like, I mean, I've been to supermarkets and it's busier than Christmas in some of them,
Oh,
even
wow.
with queues outside. And I think because there are so many people queuing, they're just letting people in and they're not actually following rules anyway. So I think the fact you're smaller is you should come out of it better,
I
hopefully.
think so.
Mm. Perfect. So once this is all over, we are back to normal, economies are back and everything. What's the first thing that you'll do you think?
We've been a group of, I think, 15, 16 friends, and we spread across four houses, 4 or 5 houses in the same street. We're 10 doors apart from each other,
Oh, wow.
but we obviously can't meet up. Occasionally, we'll see each other on the walk to the shops, and we'll stop and we'll be like, "Hi, how are you guys doing?" But I think we'll probably go for a walk. We'll go to Anglesey. We'll go to the beach, and we'll just hang out with each other as we haven't done for weeks.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, it's a nice thing, the fact you are so close yet you can't see each other.
Yeah,
Are you doing like Skype and like Zoom calls and all of that kind of stuff with other uni
we
friends and
haven't
stuff?
we
Or-
haven't been, no, but we I think we probably will now we've all finished work.
So you've just all literally all been working hard and
Yeah,
now you can play basically.
definitely.
Cool. And I suppose, is there anything that you think you'll miss from lockdown? Once it's all over, is there anything you're gonna like miss? Like, is it time or is it what would it be?
Um, I don't know. I don't doesn't because I've not really done anything. I don't think I'd miss much. Maybe the sense of how everyone's very close now. Everyone's very what's the word? Everyone's very compassionate right now. Everyone's very
Yeah,
how is
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I think possibly after that I think it's probably going to go back to how it was before. People not really.
Oh, really? You don't think there'll be some kind of change in the way we are as like that's
N-
interesting actually, because
No.
I mean, I've got this vision that we'll all be very close knitted, the communities will come together and stuff. But that's interesting that you say that because I kind of see it as well. Like we are very much we're here because we need to be here, and we'll get through this right now, and then
Yeah.
okay, screw you all. We're back to
Everyone
normal.
will drift
Okay,
apart
bye.
again, and
Yeah.
that's yeah. I think glass half empty kind of guy. You look on the darker side.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, that's it. I mean, that's all I wanted to ask. I just wanted to kind of get a student's point of view, but actually, knowing that you're Welsh, I think that's quite an important view here. And I
Yeah.
think I've done these interviews with lots of different people, and everyone has got such a different aspect to it, and how they're coping, what's good, what's bad. Um, what is there anything you're going to take? I think one last question: is there anything you're going to take away from it, like as a like takeaway, and like I suppose later down the line you'll like come back to it if that makes sense?
Um, I don't know. It's a good question. Um, I definitely think it's a point we can all look at how we did eventually come together as like a whole country,
Yeah,
and at some point it makes me think that Wales would be better off on their own, and then other points make me think we would be better as a united kingdom.
yeah.
So it's sort of
Interesting.
myself,
Do
it's
you,
rocked my
yeah.
own opinion.
No, I like that. Do you think that, like, like a few years ago we had the whole Scottish wanting independence? Do you think that's Wales would consider that maybe, or do you think that that's something that would never be considered?
It's definitely growing. I mean, obviously that's something I would really want myself. I'm a very strong Welsh nationalist. It's definitely growing in support. I think that in some aspects this has escalated it with companies being told not to supply PPE to England and Scotland and Wales.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they were told to either to prioritise England by the government, and companies have been like, we can't supply to our Scottish and Welsh friends. So that was
Wow.
something I really, really aggravated me.
That's shocking. Yeah, you think that like we are a United Kingdom and Boris and the government, they are ruling the United Kingdom, not just England.
Yep. Which is, I think, a Welsh MP did in Parliament. I think it was yesterday. I think her name is Liz Saville. She questioned Boris about his advice that he was giving on. Was it Monday it came out that he said the new regulations?
Yeah, so I think the speech was on Sunday and then the full detail come out on Monday, but yeah.
She said that, can you just clarify that you are speaking to the people of England, to the country as the Prime Minister of England, not Scotland and Wales, because they have gone in a different direction.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
agree there. With this, I think the whole country sat down at 7 o'clock on
yeah,
Sunday to watch that and, find out the next day. And he didn't once say England.
no.
I don't think
Which
he even
I
said the
think
United
has
Kingdom, if I'm
caused a lot
correct.
of
It was just
confusion.
this is a message that I'm gonna say, and then it did leave people because there are people that live on the England Scotland border and the England Welsh border. Where do they stand like in terms of who do they follow, who don't they follow?
There are police on the borders of England and Wales stopping people coming in to
Wow.
Wales currently.
Wow, there you go. Well, yeah, I think that's an important view that
Yep.
actually he hasn't governed the United Kingdom and he's governed England.
Yep.
But I think it's nice that, England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland have all actually stuck up for themselves and gone, actually, we think you're wrong, and
Yep.
we're doing our own thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming onto my channel and having a chat and
No
just,
worries.
let me know about everything. Before you do go, I know you are on YouTube and you do YouTube videos.
Yep.
Do you want to let everyone know your channel, what it's a bit about, in case they want to come over and check you out and stuff?
So I'm completely different to you. I'm a gaming channel. I do a strategy game called
Yep.
Crusader Kings 2. I play pretty much solely with the Game of Thrones mod. I love A Song of Fire and Ice. It's a huge part of my life. I love it. And pretty much solely play with that. Currently got a series on House Durrandon, who ruled the Stormlands before House Baratheon, so playing as them currently.
Wow, cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've never got into gaming, but I know there are people out there that love it, and like
Yeah,
I'm like a Sega Mega Drive kind of 2D kind of person. Like, don't give me anything with like ups and downs unless it just goes over my head. So
yeah,
awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on my
no
channel,
worries.
and stay safe during the rest of this. And I hope you do come out of it, and I hope Wales comes out of it quicker and
Yeah,
stronger and everything like that.
thank you, and I hope you
No
do
worries. Thank
as
you so
well.
much, Dan. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Well, guys, that was Iwan's interview, and it was really interesting to see how similar, I suppose, we're thinking in terms of the regulations and England and Wales and the differences there, as well as a university student's point of view. It looks like most things there are pretty good, but it just shows you how I suppose it can get us all like thinking. He's got a very positive out of it. He's done really well with his dissertation and had all that extra time, and I think that's quite important for him. But I mean, everyone is different, and this series is really showing me how different every single person is. I really hope you did enjoy this in the series, and remember there are so many more which you can go and check out. If you haven't already, leave us a thumbs up on this video, leave us comments down below if any of this relates to you, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. But that is it for today, Lockdown, how are you coping? And I will see you tomorrow for another one. Bye guys.